You realise in a lot of ways, Battlestar Galactica was Ronald D. Moore saying, if I was doing Star Trek Voyager, this is how I'd do it.
Yes, yeah.
Because, after leaving DS9, he went straight onto Voyager, and he lasted like a week before he kind of quit, ending things badly, I guess, with, I think Brennan Barger and him rekindled their friendship afterwards, which is great, but I think there was it was a bit hurtful between them when he actually did leave Voyager.
Oh, really?
This whole thing was, you got this ship on the other side of the galaxy with no support, no help. This thing should be falling to pieces.
Yeah.
It should not be back to normal the next week.
Yeah.
And you can see that, like, in that final season, as the ship is just getting so beaten up, you can see that's kind of what he was. That was his little response to Voyager, I think.
Yeah, huh. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, because the Galactica was like freaking barely holding together by the end of that show, and that was great. It was sad, but it was like it was also great.
So giving my answer to your question, then, Francisco, I would probably give the worst ending, now that I've brought it up, to Voyager. Because
I watched Voyager, but never really knew how it ended.
Yeah, the ending felt extremely anticlimactic to me. I wanted a whole nother episode after it, dealing with Aftermath and denouement, all that kind of stuff. It's like, is it a spoiler to say whether Voyager got home or not?
I don't think anybody cares. You can spoil it.
No.
It's Voyager.
It's 90s Star Trek. You know the answer.
Yeah.
In the far, so at the very end, Voyager kind of bursts out of this Borg cube, and Starfleet are there, and they're like, "Oh, Voyager, you're back. Good. See you soon."
Yeah.
Transmission ends, and then you see them flying into orbit of Earth, and the credits roll. I'm like, really? I've waited 7 years for that?
Yeah.
Like, there is so much character stuff you could do.
Yeah.
I want to see Janeway on Earth. I want to see the emotion on their faces as they set foot on the ground.
Oops, dang it.
I want to know how Seven's going to fit in. I want to see Tom reunite with his father.
Yeah.
It could, oh man, I'd love to rewrite the last episode of Voyager.
I want to see them play poker.
Yes. See, for a fairly episodic show, at least TNG ended on that really emotional kind of character.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Did you feel any satisfaction from Seven of Nine's appearance or use in Picard, in Star Trek Picard?
I certainly enjoyed seeing her and seeing how the character has developed and changed, which I think for the most part was realistically done. Time that's passed. Did it make Voyager's ending feel better? No, really. I didn't really connect the two.
Yeah.
I guess because it is so disconnected, you can see that 20 years later, this is where her life is, but it doesn't really help with the question of, well, what was her life like in the 20 years intervening? Like, to get from where she was, where she is now, what was that journey? There's a lot going on there. And I don't think Picard, if Picard tried to deal with that, that would have been wrong. It would have gotten just too bogged down in backstory. So I think they handled it the right way.
Yeah.
No, it didn't really give any more satisfaction to Voyager as such for me.
Yeah.
So what about a sci-fi series that ended well, in your guys' opinion?
Oh, wait, Francisco, did we get to your worst?
Oh, I was just asking the question. You want me to give the answer? Oh.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let me think about that. I don't know why I wasn't thinking about it.
That's all right. You don't have to answer. I just assumed that I want you to be a part of the discussion too. It's a great topic.
That. Yeah, I would like to answer. Give me a moment to think.
Okay.
So if one of you have your best, then go for it.
I mean, my knee-jerk reaction is going to be Farscape somehow, but I don't know if that's justifiable. I just really love Farscape.
Well, that comes down to whether you like the Peacekeeper Wars.
Yes,
That's the ending.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, episode of season 4 doesn't count.
Yeah, there's a sense in which I could say actually that the end of Farscape was the worst ever, and it was also the best if you count end of season 4 as the end, and then for the other question, count the Peacekeeper Wars as the end. You know, it just depends on which you count as the end of the show. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's all that comes to. Well, as far as geek shows, anyway. Well, yeah. Maybe. Yeah, I was gonna say Cheers has a really bittersweet ending, but yeah, I think Peacekeeper Wars is just such a nice ending to that series. You know, bittersweet for sure, but just some really neat things that happened in that, and where they ended things, and yeah. So I guess that's the only thing that comes to mind. How about for you, Adam?
Yeah. I've got a couple of thoughts in my mind, and again, they're going to go in fairly predictable places. I really liked the ending of Deep Space Nine. Of all the Star Trek finales, it's possibly my favourite. It's it really did. It ended. It wrapped up a 2-year arc, and it also wrapped up a 7-year story. It had the epic, kind of big final battle kind of feel, but it also took the time to really get sentimental about the characters in a way that a lot of people probably don't like. With, they spend a good 15-20 minutes just with like montages of characters saying goodbye to each other, and but I ate all that stuff up.
Yeah.
The only point against the Deep Space Nine finale, and again I'm more forgiving of this than a lot of people are, is the plotline around Dukat and the Par Wraiths. And I was not against the concept of that. I just think the way it was implemented in that final episode felt very rushed and very, very weak.
Okay.
And I've learned a lot of that, I think, is because scheduling conflicts meant that Mark Alamo and Avery Brooks were not able to be on set at the same time. So their on a boss fight as such was was understandably weak because the neither of them were in the room at the same time shooting stuff.
Interesting.
And the other place that I'm obviously going to go is Babylon 5.
Yeah.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That's an interesting one as well, because it all depends how you define ending, because the entire 5th season was kind of a denouement in a lot of ways, and compared to the previous 2 was reasonably weak, although it did have some amazing stuff, particularly towards the end. Season 4 wrapped up, like if season 4 had finished and then they'd gone to the finale, Sleeping in Light, which they filmed at the end of 4, an amazing ending. The finale is a very powerful episode. It's just pure emotion. It's pure wrap up. There's all the big epic conclusions have already happened. So yeah, the finale is just a pure character episode and nothing else, and it doesn't apologize for that.
Huh.
Oh, nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could argue. Well, another thing that I love about it is just how he kind of pre-planned and I mean, it didn't all go according to plan, but as much as he was able, he planned out to tell a story, and he told that story.
Yeah.
And that's where I think a lot of shows fail with their endings, because they don't know where they're going, and then they peter out a bit. They try to wrap it up, but they never really had a plan to begin with. Like even with Picard, and we've talked about the ending of that last year, I think it was. How I found that the finale of season 1 disappointing, even though I really liked the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And I've actually heard a quote from the showrunner saying, "Oh, we've learned a lesson from this, that maybe it's good to actually kind of plan the ending before you get there."
Good grief.
How have you not learned this lesson?
Yeah, my
The show
gosh.
had Pulitzer Prize novelists and And people have been writing to
Wow.
me for years. Like, how can they be only learning this lesson now?
Wow.
So that kind of blew my mind.
Yeah.
Um,
That's a special kind of crazy.
yes. Yeah. So I guess the mark against Babylon 5 is the fact that it does have this extended 5th season, which was kind of thrown together at last minute because they didn't think they were going to get the 5th season, so they wrapped things up a bit earlier than they planned to.
Okay.
That weakens the overall ending of the show, but I think even with that, it still ends in a very satisfactory way.
Nice. Okay, so I thought about for me, for worst ending. So, honorable mention to Firefly, because it got canceled. But since they got the movie, I feel like that was able to close out some of the lingering things.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yep.
But so in lieu of that, the one I'm going to pick is a show called Almost Human, which starred Carl Urban. He was a detective, and he was partnered with a...
Yes.
You've seen this, Paeter?
I have, yeah.
I got so invested in that show, and this whole idea of at the end there's a wall, there's something over the wall, what's over the wall, and then it gets canceled.
Yeah.
I hated it so much. That's how it ended. I know that's not the show's fault necessarily, but
Oh no, I totally relate to that. I mean, there was a period of years where I just didn't watch shows until they were done, because the shows I loved most got canceled with unresolved endings, you know? And one example of that is, oh crap, I can't remember the name of it now. Okay. Bradley Cooper made a movie where taking a pill allowed him to access like all of his brain. What is that movie called?
Limitless?
Thank you. The TV series was fantastic. There was a Limitless TV series that took place in the same world. Bradley Cooper's character actually guest starred on 1 or 2 episodes.
Oh, cool.
And they had a new character. Oh my gosh. It was so brilliant what they were doing and how they were representing his mind, like just having all those super intense abilities. They were kind of doing stuff where like... where I can't even remember exactly now what they were doing. It was, but there was projections going on in his mind of like imaginary things, if I remember correctly, that just represented his thought process and thinking through things. I mean, it was like how they represented his mental powers, his mental strength, was so cool and artistic and stylish.
Oh, nice. Cool.
It was such a cool series. It went 1 season and it ended totally unresolved and did not get renewed. And it was like, this was not just like Paeter thinking something's cool. This is like, you look at this and you could tell this is really high caliber television. It just didn't find its audience for whatever reason, you know? And that is such a shame. That is such a shame. And so, you know, that was like one time where I went out on a limb. I was like, I'm liking this show so much, I'm going to watch it even though it breaks my rule. And then it got canceled. And so I was like, that's what you get, Paeter. That's what you get.
And before my favorite, I want to address Balmy Leaders. He says, tell your friends in the Discord chat about the Marvel Netflix shows. I'm trying to tell everyone about these masterpieces. So I'm so burnt out on Marvel, Balmy Leader, that I have no interest. But maybe other people do, but I'm not. But I'm glad you like them. For me, I actually... It's bittersweet, but I appreciate how Quantum Leap ended.
Oh yeah.
And I'm gonna spoil this since it's so old, but Dr. Beckett, was it Sam Beckett?
Sam Beckett, yep. Yep.
How Sam sacrifices going back to the future so that Al can have another chance with his wife.
Yes.
I forget if she died or what have you, but yeah. I thought that was so beautiful and such a great ending for their friendship. So I really like that.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, in fact, I bought that on Blu-ray and I started watching it. Didn't get very far into it. I'm like maybe halfway through the first season or the second season, maybe. And I put it in to start another episode just a couple days ago, after the longest break from it.
Oh, cool.
But I didn't stick with it.
Yeah, do you feel like it holds up at all? I feel like it may not very well.
It does hold up in some ways. I think that I think there's something about that show that for me, once I notice it, I can't not notice it, and it starts bothering me.
Okay.
And that is specifically, just so I can ruin it for both of you, if you ever try to watch it again. That is like it's chronological snobbery and it's moralizing. It seems like a lot of episodes are about how things used to be backwards and immoral in the country, and they're right about some things. They're dealing with things like racism and the way women were treated and stuff like that. But it's like once you see that and you realize, oh, they're really going back to that well over and over again. Then you just start seeing like agenda in the story writing.
Yeah.
And I just want them to lean into interesting stories where Sam is faced with these difficult dilemmas. That's where it's strongest, I feel like. Not when it's like they're going for low-hanging fruit that I think most reasonable people would say, yes, of course that was a bad thing, So why do you feel like you need to stand at the pulpit for half of the episode? We agree, and now it's just feeling a bit preachy, Yes. I'll tell you one show that does something similar, has a man on the run, as it were. I mean, Sam isn't literally running, but it's a similar kind of formula. Man on the run, he's running into new people, entering into their lives, helping them out, and then moving on, right?
Yeah.
That really held up for me, even though I haven't finished it. I should get back to it. Is The Incredible Hulk?
Oh, the original one.
Yes.
With, Lou Ferrigno?
Yes. Yeah.
I never saw it. Okay.
And the best stuff from those is when he's not the Hulk. The best stuff from those.
That makes sense, because when he is the Hulk, he's just like got green makeup on or something, doesn't he?
Yeah, and there's still some cool moments, I mean, Lou Ferrigno was freaking huge, so he's still quite the hulking man to look at, and there's a sense, and there's some moments you can buy into and say, holy crap, that dude is insanely ripped and huge, But the best stuff, the moving stuff, is David Banner trying to help people,
Oh, okay, cool.
And every once in a while, I think they do get into some of the same preachiness there, but not as much as in Quantum Leap.
Okay.
And so I think that Quantum Leap is at its strongest when it reminds me of The Incredible Hulk.
Okay, yeah.
And it does a number of times, and so it's I want to get back to it, and watch that through all the way. But anyway, I feel like that's a rabbit trail that we were on some other topic. So let's get back to that.
I mean, we finished. That was just my sci-fi that I thought ended the best.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and that was it. We all gave our
good.
Our worst and our best.
Okay, good.
Yes.
You know me and my rabbit trailing. Sorry.
That's fine. I appreciate your guys' thoughtfulness in answering that.
Man, I'm trying to think of now other shows that got canceled. Did you guys ever see a show? This is even further back. This is when I was still living at home with my parents. So this would be maybe even the mid to late 90s or very early 2000s. A show called Nowhere Man.
I don't recall it.
Yeah, I remember the name. Was that the one? He was like a photographer.
Yes.
And there was like the guy, the hood over the face. Yeah, I do remember watching.
Yes.
That was like one of the earliest serialized stories that grabbed me.
Yeah, and I think that's probably. I think you just hit the nail on the head. before I even had a chance to realize it. That's probably that's probably what killed it, is that people were not ready for serialized storytelling like that. That was like, you better watch every episode when they air. You cannot miss an episode.
So, what was the premise of this? A photographer?
There was a guy. Oh, I still remember the pilot. There was a guy who had been on, I think, some kind of a Black Ops mission or some kind of, a military mission or something in the Congo or somewhere overseas, and some stuff went down, and he had taken pictures of a bunch of it that happened, and then he was doing a photo show, like a gallery showing of this series of photos that he took.
Oh, wow.
Okay. And at some point that day, something happened. Maybe it was, as Adam said, like literally a hood over, like a sack placed over his head, and then he woke up somewhere else. But anyway, he woke up, and suddenly, I mean, it was like the same day too. No one knew who he was. His house, like everything of his, was gone. His wife did not recognize him or act like she knew him at all, and his wife was not some actor that could pull this off, but she was, it was like his life had been completely erased.
That's so weird. There's a Twilight Zone episode that's exactly that same thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Of the old Twilight Zone, yeah.
But this one was playing up not like a supernatural thing. At least I don't think that's where it was headed. Sometimes it seemed like it might be. Mm-hmm. But rather more like huge conspiracy theory type stuff. That's the vibe you got from it, is that there is a huge conspiracy going on. Like there was this weird motif that had to do with cigars. I can't remember what it was. Like somebody was snipping, like he would see people like snipping cigars or something. It's been so long since I saw it. But
and that meant they were bad guys.
Yes. It meant somehow they were connected to the conspiracy, So it was just these things he started noticing. Oh, man. My dad was not a fan. He said, this show's going nowhere, man. But I was like, Dad, oh my gosh, how do you not appreciate this? This is awesome, But yeah, it ended up going nowhere, man, because it got canceled. And I was so sickened by that. And I think that was actually the show that made me say, no more. No more will I get this excited, this invested in a show, because it might end up getting canceled.
Man, and what one to cancel it and have no idea how it was going to play out.
Oh, I know. One season, and if you felt like they were building up so much, and honestly, I think they knew, just based on how it was written and how things progressed, I think they had more of a plan in their one season than Lost had in the entire run of that show.
I imagine. Jeez.
It just came too early. Yeah, go ahead.
So maybe you guys can help me with this, because I have no idea what this was called. I just have this one image in my head of this show. But it was about, and it's similar to, it sounds like what you were saying about Incredible Hulk and some of Quantum Leap, Man on the Run type thing.
Uh-huh.
There's this man that was a werewolf, and he kept trying to get away, and I feel like he went to town, but that's all I remember of it.
Huh. Werewolf.
Yeah. And
what decade, roughly?
This would be like 80s.
You're not talking about...
Late 80s.
You're not talking about like Manimal, are you? I don't think that was a guy on the run, but it was this dude that could turn into different animals.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I barely remember. I remember this one. Sorry, all I remember is this night scene, like a moonlit type of thing. You look at a forest, and then this werewolf's like going along trying to get away from some people hunting him. And that's all I remember, but I just know it was a show, I think.
Man. And it wasn't Beauty and the Beast.
No, with Linda Hamilton.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't think so.
Okay. Man.
It doesn't ring any bells for me.
Okay. Maybe I'm just Mandela affecting it or something.
I'm sorry I missed it. Or maybe not, since it got canceled.
The cancellation that probably hurt me the most was Stargate Universe. but I'm still holding out hope that I'm going to get answers if a new show gets greenlit.
Oh yeah. I never was into it in its original run. I caught it later, but I was really sad that Jericho never got a second chance.
Oh,
Which was, do you know what Jericho is, Adam?
I think I only ever saw one episode, but that was another JMS program, wasn't it? Like a
was it?
apocalyptic.
It was post-apocalyptic. I didn't know it was JMS.
Yeah, I remember seeing this. But there were like two characters. There was an African American guy, and
It was Theo. Oh, well, maybe you don't know who that is, but Theo from the Cosby Show, wasn't it?
I don't remember.
I think it was. I think it was grown-up Theo.
right.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. Some people were looting a library or something, and this guy was saying, libraries are like sacred to me, so we've got to defend this temple. And I just remember thinking to myself, that is such a J. Michael Straczynski kind of character to write, because yeah, I mean, he's an atheist, but he values knowledge and literature and yeah, I just thought, I can really see his hand in the writing of this show. I think that's the only episode I ever managed to see, but it must have stuck in my mind.
Oh wow, okay. It's been so long since I've actually seen it that I don't remember it too well. I just mainly remember the premise, but I remember that it ended very abruptly, and I think they wanted to try and make another season, but they didn't. I finished this other show called Manifest recently, and they got greenlit for Netflix is going to like conclude the seasons, which I'm very happy about. So, but yeah, it's tough. It's tough when you put your time into these big Hollywood bigwigs' hands, and they just say no more. This is Ghost Recon. Oh yeah, it says right there, Ghost Recon Breakpoint.
Yes.
Apparently I can't read.
No, that's all right. That's all right. Well, I don't always change the dumb game title on the stream, so.
Haven't noticed any mistakes today, but then I haven't been watching closely for a lot of the time.
Have there been any play moments? I'm bummed I haven't watched most of today, Paeter. But have there been any moments that have been really cool from a game perspective? Like, oh, I didn't know this was going to happen here, or anything like that?
Oh gosh, nothing that I recall. But it's also like 6 hours from the end almost at this point, and so it's all blurring together.
Yeah.
But I'm really
Paeter, I was wanting. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
At the risk of changing the subject too early, I was wondering how you're progressing through the Expanse and where you're up to.
Oh, yes. Thank you for asking. That is basically like my plan B for tomorrow. As I recover, if I kind of like... Because I'm like halfway through... I thought there was maybe only 8 episodes of Titan Season 3. Turns out there's 13. And so... I'm not near as far into that season. I have more episodes to watch than I thought. But if I burn out, since I'll have plenty of time to... since I'll have plenty of episodes to fill whatever my afternoon and evening are, if I burn out, I'm going to open up the Expanse, I think. I have gotten 2 or 3 episodes into Season 2. And... it's been long enough. It's been close to a month, I think, since I've watched an episode. And so I've forgotten some stuff that I'm sure I'll remember as soon as I get back into it, But just speaking generally, are you familiar with the show? I assume since you're asking, you are.
Yeah, I'm familiar with both the show and the books. So you're actually still in book 1 at the moment.
Okay. I found, the more I learned about the detective character, whatever his name is, the private investigator guy.
Miller?
What's that?
Miller,
yes. And just kind of like his personal investment in the girl that he was looking for. As that kind of stuff started to come out, I really think they should have led with that. I understand maybe they didn't want to reveal that early on, but I'm glad that did come out because it personalized the story. And there's just things about all the characters that, you don't know from the beginning who are really going to be your focal characters other than Miller. Miller is, but they have this crew that kind of discovers this thing out in space that's leading, that gives them discovery about what's going on with all the tensions and like attempts at starting a war and stuff. But I feel like the show, it took time to figure out, okay, who are the characters that they're going to zoom in on and we're going to give arcs to. You know what I mean? I wasn't clear on that from the get-go. But as I lived with the characters and stuck with it, I did learn enough about them to start caring about their stories and wanting to know more about their stories, So it got, or I should say is getting to where I want in terms of stories being about characters. I just wish it would have been structured in a way where they led with that information, about what's driving these characters and, what they care about, and yeah.
Yeah, having read the book first for the first one, I already kind of knew where they were heading with those characters, so I knew who was going to be important and that. So that was probably helpful to me. But yes, I was wondering if you would start to kind of feel this way. So I think it was fair when you categorized it as more of a plot-driven rather than a character-driven.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking when I heard you say that hopefully he'll realize that it's probably a bit more character-driven than he's realizing at the moment.
Yes, and I think I can see that. I can see that.
And probably more sci-fi than you're realizing at the moment as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm already seeing enough that's there's all kinds of questions that I have. I'm like, I can't wait to get the answers to these because I think it's going to go to probably some wild sci-fi places. And so I'm content to not know at this point. I'm content to just have those questions and have them revealed when the story wants to, So, yeah, I'm definitely planning at this point still on seeing it through. I have not lost interest. I think there were just a few other things that kind of got my attention or were a little more time sensitive to give attention to. I mean, that's kind of the one thing against it is, oh crap, there's a Terminator here. Oh crap. Let me see if I can somehow finish this quest before. No, I gotta kill the Terminator. What was I going to say? We keep Amazon Prime all year. That's the only streaming service, because of the shipping, really, that we keep all year long. And so if there's something on Amazon Prime, I'm like, well, we'll always have that. Let me get this other thing watched while we have this service, And so a lot of Amazon Prime stuff ends up getting pushed to the back burner because of that. And the Expanse is on Amazon Prime. And so... Yeah, but I absolutely plan on probably soon getting back into the Expanse some more because I have been appreciating it.
Cool. It'll be interesting to catch up again when you've seen some more of it.
Yeah. Have you watched the entire series then?
Well, of course, he's a researcher here.
I've seen everything that's been released. There is at least one more season coming.
That's right, yeah.
I think they're going to stop there because after that there's like a big time gap in the books.
Okay.
I think that's kind of a natural stopping point for them.
Yeah, yep. Okay. I wonder if there'd be a possibility of maybe like some mini-series down the line. If there's a big time gap, I mean, it depends on how big the time gap is. Is it basically all new characters, or these characters older, some of the same characters older, or what?
Yeah, just the same characters old, but
okay.
So they could give it a few years and then kind of give them different haircuts and stuff, and a bit of grey in the hair, and they could almost pull it off.
Yeah, yeah.
That's gotta be the stupidest thing I've ever heard. You're lucky Sentinel soldiers
I have a
didn't kill
question not really related to the Expanse.
Okay.
It's about an Expanse in a way.
Anything you say, pal.
Have you watched any more of Foundation, Paeter?
I have not. I don't know if I'll ever get around to getting back to that one, but do you want to try and sell me on coming back to it?
No, not really.
Oh.
I haven't been watching it. I just remember when you reviewed it, you mentioned something in the review about how it everything, like the romance was rushed, or it seemed like things were.
Oh, that's
quickly.
right. Yeah.
And I've read the first book, and I will say that totally makes sense given what is happening in the first book, because it is just sort of like almost like short, expanded vignettes that happen. Like, okay, this happened this time. Okay, then they jump forward 1,000 years. Okay, now this is happening, and how that's how it relates. To the historian guy, and they just keep doing that several times in the first book.
Okay,
and so that just wanted to address that's why it's like that.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, that's kind of what I wondered. I can't remember if I said something along these lines in my review or not, but I was like looking at what was going on with the structure, and I was like, this almost feels like it's an epic. They're trying to tell an epic, like where there's this big saga that stretches over many years, and they're just giving us the major bullet points of this multi-decade saga, and so that's why it's so short. It's because they're not really drilling in like most TV shows do to get deep with a shorter period of time. They're doing something that's, they're doing the Odyssey or whatever. They're doing this big, huge thing and just giving us these. Yeah. So I wonder if I were to adjust my expectations and understand that from the get-go, that if I would have a different experience. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, yes, definitely a much better experience.
So, Adam... go ahead.
I was just about to ask Adam if he's seen Foundation or if he's read the books or anything like that.
No, neither, I'm afraid. I'm, somewhat aware of the books. I've never quite been drawn into them. And I haven't, I don't have Apple TV, so I haven't checked out the first episode of that.
Yeah,
if there's ever anything that really pulls me to sign up for that for a time, then because I know it is available on non-Apple devices, then I will check it out while I'm there. But I haven't felt the pull to go there just for that at this point.
Totally makes sense. Yeah, and like I said, I read the first book. I didn't really have much of a desire to read more. So it was fine for what it was. I think I'd rather go and try to read iRobot or something like that of Isaac Asimov's.
Go. We'll link up later.
Yeah, I mean, it's a hard story to sell because they, describe it as a mathematician trying to predict the future. It's like, it's a hard sell.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a great series, but.
Oh man, I just barely dodged an anti-aircraft missile.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys just need to be staggered in awe at how amazing I am.
Okay.
I'll see that in a moment, I guess.
No, there's nothing to see. It does not look impressive at all. Oh crap, there's another one though. Oh, down. Oh crap! Oh crap! We're going down! Black Hawk down! Oh crap. Oh jeez. Oh crap, okay. Alright, sorry. That didn't go like I'd planned.
Either of you guys planning to check out the Wheel of Time series?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Absolutely not.
It's such...
Very, very opposite opinions there.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why absolutely, and then Francisco can say why absolutely not. It's just such a respected series. It has such hardcore fans, and I've never been able to enjoy it because of its prose, which spends too much time on description. But I've always said to myself, if this ever becomes a series of movies or a TV show or something, I will absolutely want to experience what I can, what I'm able to enjoy of it because of the format change, you know. So that's I even though like a big fan of the books is going to be aghast at this statement, I'm excited to find out what all the fuss is about, you know. And of course, a big fan of the books is going to say, well, you're not going to see what all the fuss is about because you're watching the show instead of reading the books. Well, I just mean what I can enjoy of it, you know, because of my likes and dislikes in the writing.
Totally makes sense.
So why not for you, Francisco?
Oh, just I know I've heard the name Wheel of Time, but I've never read the books. And I have so many other things I'd rather watch or use my time to do. So yeah, I'm sure it's gonna be fine. I'm not like opposed to it.
Yeah,
anyone watching it. It's not something I'm willing to invest my time in right now.
Yeah. Yep.
Fair enough.
Yep. Are you a big fantasy guy or a little bit more of a sci-fi guy?
I like both. I think pretty equally. It's really dependent on just what it is. Yeah, I like them. I like fantasy and sci-fi in movies and games and not that I read many comics, but if it were comics, probably comics. Yeah, I think it just depends on the property.
Yeah, I think another thing that excites me about it is I am a big fan of fantasy, and I feel starved for high quality fantasy that's serious and for adults without naked people.
Well, do I have an anime for you called Rising of the Shield Hero?
Oh, jeez. I should have said live action in there somewhere, dang it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, I totally respect you saying not filled with naked people, because I mean I feel like The Witcher is that, except for that part, which is so frustrating.
Yeah, and we had Game of Thrones too, which like by all descriptions I'm like, that totally sounds like my kind of show, but it sounds but they're leaning so much into sex and naked people that I'm like, my gosh, you're ruining it. Exactly. Well, that's my alarm to start wrapping things up here. I'm getting
where's my pizza? This is the pizza party stream, right?
No. You either missed that one or
I'm pretty sure I was there for that.
I think you were, but I don't remember past 5 minutes ago. So we're getting to that point now. Adam. Is your stream, how long is your stream going to be? Like 6 hours, 4 hours? I can't remember.
It's going to be 8 hours from 9 to 5.
Ooh, nice. That's beefy. Cool.
I think that'll work because I'm doing like it's almost 3 different streams.
Oh yeah,
So hopefully I won't exhaust myself
because of kind of the programming. Yeah. Are you thinking of like the thinking out loud type of like how you're going to do the writing part?
Yeah, I mean I think just as much as I can talk through what because I don't have as much of a detailed outline as I would normally like to have.
Okay.
So I'm kind of like writing a paragraph and then thinking, all right, now what do I need to figure out here? So I can do all that thinking out loud.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
I'm thinking that's going to work.
Cool. Well, I'm looking forward to popping in and cheering you on.
Yes.
So is that 9 o'clock?
Because I've got to get my words. So that's 9 a.m. Australian Daylight Time. I can... I'm written down somewhere. I can find you exact times for the various time zones. Let me just put in the description of my YouTube trailer. I figured them all out, and then I realised I had them wrong because I realised that America was going through a time change, whereas we'd already gone through ours. The same. I made the same mistake last time I did a stream as well.
Oh crap!
Here we go. Look at this one.
Okay.
So,
My gosh.
ES.
Sorry. I'm running from a Terminator at the moment.
So EST, it's Friday night, 5 p.m. to 1 a.m. And then PST, it's again Friday night, Friday afternoon, 2 p.m. to 10 p.m.
Thank you.
And that will be on YouTube. I have been toying with the idea of maybe trying out Restream and see if I can get that to work. Because I've been watching a few things on Twitch lately, although I've never put any content on there. But I don't know if I'll do that or not.
Yeah, I thought about trying to get Restream going this year, but it requires me to upgrade from using OBS Classic to like the one that everyone else uses that is sane and more comfortable with technology than I am.
Is that the Streamlabs thing?
OBS
That's really bad.
OBS is the streaming software that I'm using, and I use OBS Classic because I got it to work. I know how to use it. I know how to make it work and keep it working. And when I tried once to install the new version that most people use when they're talking about OBS, it didn't work for me. So.
And all those
possibly
kids on
using the
Paeter's
plastic
lawn,
bag.
get off his lawn.
That's right. All those kids on my lawn, get off my lawn. That's right. Exactly. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for coming and keeping me company.
Yeah, thank you, Paeter.
Before I head into the descent of madness that is the last 6 hours of this.
Yes. I look forward to coming and checking some. I made a comment when I got home from church. I had your stream on, and I made a comment to my wife. Oh, he's going kooky really early this time. And then I realised it was pre-recorded material for you.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Yep, I'm sure we'll have more for the highlights reel for 2021 before too long.
Awesome. Well, thank you for doing this, Paeter.
Oh, you bet. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Okay. Good gravy. Good gravy. So here we are. The final 6 hours. It always goes by, like, in one sense, so fast. I spend, like, 3 months anticipating this thing. And then it goes by in such a blur. And yet, feels like so much happened. It's really... I think until you've done it yourself, it's hard to understand how it feels. As I said in a previous year, I do in 24 hours significantly more gaming total hours than I would normally do in a full week. Yeah, it's really crazy. All right, let me make some adjustments here and get myself a little bit more back to my normal setup. Okay, now we're good. I think I'm going to find a sensible place to kind of pause my progression that I'm making in Ghost Recon Breakpoint and go back for a little while to Fallout New Vegas, because some interesting stuff was happening there, story-wise, that I wanted to move forward in, but it would have been too difficult when trying to hang out and chat with patrons at the same time, so...
The civilians here, be careful. Enemy fighter.
Let's see, what am I trying to do here, and where am I trying to go? What is this mission? Okay. Trying to remember, there was a few missions. I'm trying to finish all the side missions for, it says 01 at the top there. That's for the main campaign. If you, there are 3 episodes here, and I recently acquired episode 2 for free as part of a giveaway, and then I realized that I had enough like Ubisoft points or Ghost Recon points or whatever the crap just kind of built up that I could pay for the third DLC with entirely those points. And so suddenly I acquired both of these 2 DLCs for free recently. And then they also have this new Conquest mode DLC called the Motherland, which almost kind of adds an entirely new campaign to the game. So I'm kind of like on my way to that, but I want to do the DLCs first. So I'm starting by trying to take down all of the side missions in episode 1 because I finished the main campaign, and then I'll move on to episode 2 and so on and so forth. But some of these side missions are like timed missions or like insta-fail stealth missions, kind of things that I just have no interest in. And so once I've realized that only those types of missions are left, then I'll move on. But this next one might still be a mission that I can do. Now, one of the rules that I've kind of made for myself in playing this game, and I do this for fun sometimes. I'm not always in the mood to do it. But since turning Terminators back on and having them populate in the open world, it's a fun way to play, to say, okay, can't fast travel. I can use bivouacs, these campsites, to restock and summon vehicles and stuff, but no fast travel. I have to, if I get in a bind, like crashing my helicopter like I just did, then I gotta make do. I gotta find the nearest vehicle and like, okay, cool, here's a motorcycle coming up that I should be able to use. And it just kind of, adds something fun to the experience for me. Oof. Oh crap, those guys are really close. Please don't see me. Nice, okay, I think we're good. Let's see. I'm not going to catch up with all the comments here, but Balmy Leader, most recent one says, we need more sci-fi space FPF games. No, not like No Man's Sky. Not at all. Like Prey or Halo 3. Yeah, I'm with you on that. I would like more... I'm looking forward to Starfield, in part because it's, space opera. But with the Bethesda RPG, skeleton to it. That sounds like a great time to me, and I love that setting. I would prefer another Elder Scrolls game first, but while I'm waiting, I bet I will love Starfield. Crap. What is going to be... Oh my gosh. Okay. I have to get over a big old body of water, so do I assume that if I go down this hillside, I'll find a boat, or do I backtrack to the nearest bivouac and get a helicopter? That's a long way to go. I think I'm going to gamble on there being a boat somewhere near the shore here. My gosh, this is a steep decline, though. Okay, we're just going to give it a go. If I die, I'll respawn somewhere that maybe will be more useful to me. Oh, crap. Oh my gosh. Wow, that was nuts. Oh my gosh. Wow. I'm kind of like some kind of superstar. Man, no boats in sight. Come on, there's got to be something. That, or I just look for the most narrow part and I swim. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm just going to swim. Oh man, they just like emerged out of me. Okay. Alright, I'm so glad there's no sharks in this game. DT says, I just woke up. How are you feeling? How's it going? What part of the world, if you don't mind my asking, what part of the world are you in that you just woke up? I was just talking with Adam David Collings, who's in Australia, and he was saying it was like 5 or 6. Well, now it'd be about 6 p.m. Australia time. Good gravy. Oh, how am I feeling? I'm feeling good. I mean, all things considered. I don't feel concerned. You know, I think it's going to be rough in the last 3 to 5 hours, like it always is. But I'm not worried that, like, oh, this is going to be an extra bad one or something like that. I'm actually feeling okay. So yeah, optimistic at this point, even as I am slowly deteriorating. All right, let's see here. There's some helicopters there, but I think I'm gonna have to.
Just showed up. Enemy backups here.
You know what? Let me get a drone up. Jeez, yeah. Oh, I think I've been to this base before. Because I've explored every location at this point, and it's a huge world, but that's going to be too much trouble to try to get up there. And I think they have a Terminator in there, because as I got close, they were, like, all kind of alerts were going off, and I know they couldn't have spotted me. So that's usually a sign that, like, a Terminator's up there. Oh, there's a camp not too far away. All right. Well, let's see what we can do here. Oh, DT's in Ireland. So it's 7 a.m. here. Have you seen any apparitions yet? I haven't. Are you Irish, DT? Or are you just living in Ireland? Yeah, that's all. That's the question. It's fun for me to discover all the different parts of the world that people find my content from. Got people that found me in China and the Netherlands, the UK, Australia. So that's neat. Whether you are yourself an Irishman or not.
You need to recharge, Ghostly. Hydrate.
Oh, I'm exhausted. Oh crap, those things. I don't need any of that business. Gosh. Where's that campsite? I thought there was a campsite. Oh man, we got more aerial drones up there. Crap. Alright, they're actually not that scary. I just need to run through this little valley here. I just don't want to get in the thick of it with them if I don't have to. DT says, yes, I am Irish, born and raised. So cool. All right, let's see here. Oh, there. Okay, it's showing up on my mini-map, so I got to be getting close now. Get to that camp. We can summon a helicopter. Actually, I'll just get to the camp, I think. And then that'll be a good stopping point so I can switch over back to New Vegas. Nice. Okay. Very good. Very good. Get to reload my ammo. And, yeah, ammo refilled. Got the helicopter now. Although I think if I exit now, I'll have to redo the bivouac to get the helicopter to respawn if I close out of this now. And that is what I'm going to do. Oops. So let me put this... Let me, where's the button? Dang it! All the wrong buttons, Franson. Push the right ones. Alright, I'm going to turn this off for now. Switch over to New Vegas, and then I'll take a bathroom break and be back in it. Okay. Let's see. DT asked, did Corinne ever stop by? I like her deadpan style of humor. She did not stop by, and I highly doubt she would show up at this point, it being as late as it is. And she and her family, I think, are still planning on going to church tomorrow. So, not this year, alas. We'll go for it again next year. Or maybe there'll be some other live stream I do this year that she'll want to join me for. But I do appreciate her having her as well. I think she is a nice counter to me. She's a good straight man to me. DT says, that photo you shared has ruined bathroom breaks for me, LOL. You warned us, but I still wasn't prepared. I was expecting maybe a young Paeter covered in spaghetti or something. Instead, we got fully grown Paeter in labor. The mind is scarred. Rugged Warrior says, I didn't see the pic. And DT tells him you're lucky, LOL. Oh, good. I was wondering, I was like, is this really gonna... Am I building this up too much as a photo that can't be unseen? But I think the nature of the photo and then how long I walked you through lingering on it together probably helped that. So I'm pretty satisfied with how that turned out.
The Christian Geek Central podcast is the longest-running podcast for Christian geeks with over 600 weekly episodes and counting, featuring audio versions of much of the same content you'll find here, plus exclusive content including weekly news updates from the creators of Christian comics, novels, and video games, debriefing and commentary about what I've been playing, reading, and watching, and my expanded responses to your comments and questions via YouTube, email, or the Christian Geek Central forums. And now, with timestamps, so you can jump straight to the segments you want to hear most. Get the Christian Geek Central podcast today on iTunes and other podcast services, and enjoy one more way you can geek out and seek the truth.